Today's topic is sorting materials into groups. So in this lesson you will learn about the method of grouping, how to group the objects on the basis of their characteristics or properties like roughness, luster, hardness, transparency, state, which are these properties which we will learn in the next part of this lesson. So here you can see placing or sorting similar things together is called as grouping. When you place similar things together which are identical in properties, which are same to same in properties, and the properties are written here. So on the basis of these properties, when we group the materials, when we take out the materials, when we sort them and place them in particular group, that is called as grouping. And this makes it easier for us to find things when we need them. Whenever we need them, if we keep them in groups, then we can easily get them. So this is the benefit of grouping or sorting materials into groups. Now here you can see there are some pictures. There is a dog, a sunflower, rose and rabbit. So you have to categorize, you have to make it into groups. And again in the second part of this picture, there is a picture of milk, apple, cake and juice. So you have to categorize them into liquid and solid. Now the grouping on the basis of common properties. How will you group the objects into different categories on the basis of the common properties? Now objects are made of different materials, and the material that can be used to make different objects can be different, and the different materials have different properties. So we have to choose the materials with the right properties on what we want to use for it. So the materials that we have to choose should be of right property, should be having right property, so that it can be of any use. Like chalk made of wood or plastic would be of no use because it cannot be used to write on the blackboard. Now there are different properties of the materials like roughness, luster, hardness, transparency, solubility, flotation, attraction towards magnet, conduction of heat, conduction of electricity. So we'll study the properties slowly one by one. So the first property is roughness, and you all know the materials can be rough or smooth. Now some materials can have bumps or ridges on their surface, which we can feel when we touch them, and some can be very smooth without these bumps on the surfaces. So you can see the picture of bark of a tree and the petals of a flower, a glass sheet, surface of an apple. These are all a smooth surface. Petals, the glass sheet, the surface of an apple are smooth, and you can see the bark of a tree that is very rough because the surface has bumps on it. If you can touch it, will be very rough. So objects can be categorized or grouped into two types. One can be the rough one, another one is the smooth. So roughness can be one of the property. Next property can be luster, that is the shine of the material. Now all the metals, which if you can get it in the pure state, which does not have any impurities in it, are shiny, and they will possess their luster, the property of the metals. So this property of the metals is used to make jewelry like gold, silver. These are used for making jewelry. And so the metals have their own shine, that is called as the luster. So you can categorize the objects into the groups, that is luster, and those you can categorize the other group that does not have the luster, they are quite dull. So this is also one property of the materials, and by which we can sort the materials into groups, that is the luster. Then the next property is hardness. So if you touch the material in your hand and you try to compress it or press it, suppose this is the pen and I am trying to compress it, it is not being compressed because it is very hard. And if you want to take a soft object and try to compress, then it will be easily compressed. So I'll show you the this is a piece of cloth, and when I want to compress or fold it, it can be easily foldable. This can be easily foldable. So this is soft, but the pen that I was using is hard. We cannot fold it or compress it or change its shape by pressing it because it is hard. So this is also one of the property. It is called as hardness and softness. So we can categorize the objects into these two parts, that is hard quality objects and the soft one. So rocks, wood, iron, diamond, these are hard. Rubber, sponge, cotton and wool are example of soft materials. Next property is transparency. So if light passes through an object and easily we can see the other side through the object, then that is called the transparent object. Now, for example, glass, water, sheets of acrylic, cellophane paper, these are all transparent. And the items that are kept in the bottles, you can see it is visible. So shopkeepers will usually prefer to keep the items like toffee, biscuit, sweets in the transparent jar so that people can see them easily and buy them. Windows are also made up of glass so that light can pass through it and enter our rooms. But these are all transparent. But there are materials which will allow only some light to pass through them, only a little bit, that are called as translucent materials. Like if you drop some oil in a paper, then it will become translucent. It will allow only a little light to pass through it. It will not allow the light to pass fully through it, and it will not allow us to see the other side of the paper, that is oil paper. The other side will not be visible clearly. So this is called as translucent. And the other material that are called as opaque, which will not allow light to pass through it, like wood, metal, leaf, stone, cardboard are the opaque materials. So for the transparent material, for the transparent things, I can show you one plastic that will show you the other side of the plastic. From one side we can see the other side also, that I'll show you now. So now if you can see, I am holding a transparent cellophane paper on the book and it is clearly visible. So you can say this as a transparent object. So light is passing through it and I can see whatever is written below on the book through this plastic sheet, and so this is transparent. Now if you can look through this part, it is not clearly visible. So that is, it will allow some light to pass through it, but I cannot see the object that is below. So I cannot see it clearly, but something is there that can be visible, but I cannot see clearly. So this is translucent. And see this one, this is opaque. It will not allow any light to pass through it and we cannot see anything through this. Whatever is written in the book is not visible if I want to look through this. So this is opaque. So here you have understood about transparent materials, translucent and opaque materials. Now in figure table point 1, you can see we can group the objects into solid, liquid and gas. So the solids have a definite shape. Liquids have definite volume, but there is no definite shape. When we put liquid in some bottle or any container, the liquid take the shape of that container. So, and the gas will have no definite shape and volume. Solid cannot be compressed, as you have already seen. I tried to fold this, I tried to compress this pen, but it was not done. So liquid can be compressed to a small extent. Gas is highly compressible. In solid, the particles are closely packed. In liquid, the particles are not so closely packed, but in gas, they are loosely packed. So the gas can be highly compressible. So we can also categorize the objects into three different states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. There are three states of matter and matter is made up of particles. So matter exists in three states: solid, liquid and gas. As you all know, all substances are made up of matter. Whatever I have shown you just now, everything is made up of matter. Not only the plastics, not only the diary that I have shown, not only this pen, that I am showing now, everything is made up of matter, and matter is made up of smaller particles, and matter exists in three forms, that is solid, liquid and gas, which have their own properties that is listed in table 5.1. Next you can see the solubility. Now you have understood about solubility in the previous lesson. So there are materials which have different solubility in water. So based on their property, materials can be soluble, insoluble, miscible or immiscible. So those materials that can dissolve in water are said to be soluble, like common salt, sugar, they are soluble. Those that do not dissolve in water are said to be insoluble in water, like sand, wood, stone, chalk powder, wax, they are not soluble in water, so they are insoluble. Liquids that dissolve in water are said to be miscible in water. When they can mix any liquid, if it is mixed with water, then that is miscible, like alcohol, vinegar, lemon juice, honey, glycerin, they can mix with water. But that do not dissolve in water are said to be immiscible in water, like coconut oil, diesel, kerosene, any type of oil is immiscible. They cannot be mixed with water. So based on the solubility, the materials can be soluble, insoluble, miscible and immiscible. So already you know about soluble and insoluble materials, and miscible means those who can mix with water. The liquids that can mix with water are miscible. Those liquids that cannot mix with water are immiscible, like kerosene, coconut oil, diesel, any other form of oil. Some gases also dissolve in water, like carbon dioxide, oxygen. And the oxygen that is dissolved in water is very essential for the life of the organisms that live in water, for the aquatic organisms. And the soft drinks, the Coca-Cola and all those, they also contain carbon dioxide that is dissolved in it. And the gases like nitrogen, hydrogen, helium are insoluble in water. So there are gases which are soluble in water, like carbon dioxide and oxygen. There are gases that are insoluble in water, like nitrogen, hydrogen, helium. So this is also one of the property by which we can group the materials. Next is flotation. Flotation means the ability of the material to float on water. Not to sink, but to float on water. So some of the materials will float on water, whereas the heavier one will sink. Like a feather will float on water, but the stone will sink. A metal will sink, but the wood and the leaf will float. So some materials will float and some will sink in water. So on the basis of this also we can sort the materials into groups. Then you can see the point attraction towards magnet. Many materials can be attracted to the magnet, which are called as magnetic materials. So the property is called magnetism. Some can have this property and others may not. So wood is not a magnetic one, but iron, nickel, cobalt are attracted towards magnet. So they are having the property which is called as magnetism, but all the materials will not have this property. Like wood will not be attracted towards a magnet. Next is conduction of heat. Now some materials will easily conduct heat and heat will flow through them. They are called as conductors. And if materials will not allow heat to flow through them, they are called as insulators. So we have conductors and insulators. So metals are generally good conductors of heat, but wood, plastic, glass, air, paper, they are not good conductors of heat. They are insulators of heat. Now see, this is an utensil that is used in the kitchen, and the handles are mostly made up of wood or plastic. Why? Because the metal will be heated up by the gas that is burnt to cook this food, and it is a good conductor of electricity, the metallic part. But the plastic or the wood will not conduct the heat, so it will not be difficult to hold the handles of the cooking material that is made up of metal. So we can easily hold the handle because it will not conduct heat, and the metal will conduct the heat, that for there it is doing the cooking. But if you have to hold, we have to hold the handle, so it is made up of either wood or plastic, which are bad conductors of heat. And the last property is conduction of electricity. So some of the materials will conduct electricity, which are called as conductors, and materials that do not conduct electricity are called as insulators. So you know we get electricity in our homes through cables and wires. So the cable consists of metal wires. There can be plastic covering also, there may not be plastic covering. If you can see the wires, there is plastic covering. So the metal wire that is present inside will conduct the electricity. But the plastic covering that is present outside provides what? Insulation, and it will not conduct electricity. So if you touch it, we will not feel the current. So this is insulator. This is acting as insulator, the plastic covers. So there can be some materials that can conduct electricity, which are called conductors, and there can be materials which do not conduct electricity. They are called as insulators, like wood, air, plastic. These are insulators. So now today we have studied about the topic sorting materials into groups, where we have seen so many properties like hardness, softness, luster, like solubility, like conduction of electricity, attraction towards magnet, flotation. All these properties are very important when you sort the materials into groups. We will sort the materials into group by taking the materials which are having similar properties. So I hope all of you have understood the topic. Just go through the lesson and try to follow each and every part. Try to clear your concept, and in the next class we will be discussing the exercises.